Hi, I'm Ernie,
And I'm Ben.
and this is Budget Nerds.
What was all in your mind?
You are not alone.
No, you are not. Welcome back to the show, friends. Today, Ben is doing a deep dive into his categories. So 2 weeks ago, it was my turn to go through all of my categories, my groups, and now we're going to be handing it over to Ben. But first, Ben, I have an update for you.
Oh,
So when we were going through my categories, remember I had some questions or maybe some hesitancies or reservations about my reimbursements category.
right.
You helped me realize I probably don't need that. So I
Okay.
got rid of it. Now I didn't delete it.
Okay.
I hid it.
Okay. So you can bring it back
So-
if you need to.
I can always bring it back, but I'm starting to run those reimbursement costs through the category where it makes the most sense. And then I'm just offsetting that cost with the inflow directly to that category.
Nice.
So I have less split transactions and it seems like it's going to be a lot simpler. I already like it.
Okay, I love it. Yeah, it's simpler and also technically more accurate on the reports. I guess depending on how you want to define it. But yeah, that's perfect. I love it.
Yeah. And these things that I'm getting reimbursed, I never run reports on those kinds of costs. And so
Right.
it's not going to impact anything moving forward. It just makes things simpler right now. And that's what I'm all about.
I love
But
it. All right.
yeah. So 2 weeks into that and happy to report made some sort of change.
Okay.
So, but let's turn this over to you. This is your show. We're going through your categories.
Hot seat here. All right.
So I'm just going to grab a box of popcorn and enjoy.
I'm wondering how different it is. I should go back to that old episode we did I guess 2 years ago now and see how different it really is. Probably not that different compared to you, Ernie, because you can make a change in 2 weeks and I just think about it for 2 years before I change stuff.
Yeah, I'm always changing stuff. That's the way I am, I guess. But
All right. Well, I'll do what you did, Ernie. I'll go through the groups, and I'm the opposite of you, Ernie. I don't have emojis on the group names, and I do have emojis, sometimes multiple emojis on the category names. So we'll see. And we got screenshots for you if you're watching on YouTube. So, all right, let's go through my groups. I have, let me see. Oh, I didn't actually count like you did, Ernie. I should have counted.
you want to count quick?
Yeah, okay. I'm going to count quick. Okay, we're back. I counted my groups and my categories. I have 10 groups and 84 categories, which is more than I had
Wow.
2 years ago. I think a lot of those you'll see are like savings categories or different things that I'm not using regularly. But yeah, 84. So let's go through it. Okay, here's my groups. Holding categories. Those are just kind of practical categories that I use for mechanics of budgeting. Giving. Bills, frequent, Ben budgets, Katie budgets. Okay, so that's me and my wife's separate budgets that we have, separate categories. Irregular, Nanny, goals, and then goals funded. Okay, so those are my category groups.
Okay.
Any questions on those?
I think I'll save the questions
Okay.
for when we get into the actual categories.
All right, let's get into it then. All right, so holding categories. This is something I've had for a long time. I have a category called budget meeting items dash BMI. So if I want to put something in there, I just type BMI and it comes up.
Okay.
So budget meeting items is for it's just a holding category for any money that we get, or anytime I move money out of a category because it's not needed. But I need to talk to Caitlin, my wife, about where we're going to send it. So it's just a holding place where I want to follow rule 1 and give those dollars a job, but I'm not sure where it should go until I have a budget meeting with my wife, which we do once a month. Supposed to be at the beginning of the month, but sometimes it's like 2 weeks into the month, depending on how busy we are. So
Okay, but it is kind of scheduled.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I
like
have
that.
a to-do list comes up at the beginning of the month, and we plan it. So, yeah.
Now, how hard is it as a budget nerd to put money in that category and just wait until that budget meeting?
It's not too well. It depends on what it is. So, okay, there might be an example of like Caitlin's grandma sent us some money to buy the kids a birthday present, right? Because I had two of my kids had a birthday on the same month, so she sent us money to buy them $50 for them. I stuck it in BMI because I didn't want it to get mixed in with other stuff and kind of lose it, right? So I stuck it in BMI, and so I said, when we have a budget meeting, we'll talk about it. But then there's like, I realized I had too much money in one of my irregular categories, and so I moved that to BMI, right? And for that, I actually have this month, I've used it to cover some overspending. So I'm okay with that. But if there's any left over when we do have a budget meeting, we'll allocate it, you know? So it really kind of depends on what it is. So BMI is kind of a catch-all place. Sometimes I'll use it to cover overspending if there is some in there that I'm not worried that's not earmarked for something else. But usually I just let it sit until we actually have a budget meeting.
Okay. And really the ultimate goal here is just to get it out of ready to assign.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. Next holding category is margin, and it says about $300. So I set up a budget template. And unlike you, Ernie, my budget template's pretty much like right at my income, and I always keep it there. Except I have $300. My template is $300 less than our expected income for the month, so that I can have a little bit of money to kind of play with in our budget meeting, right? So we can look and say, okay, hey, this month we have family coming in town. We might need some more groceries, that kind of stuff. So it's a little wiggle room and a little bit of space. It's margin. That's what it is. We actually did a whole episode about this.
Is it also a roll with the punches category?
No, I do not take money from that category to cover overspending, because it's pretty sacred. I really do want that to be for the budget meeting to make decisions about the month. So I don't take anything from there. And actually, there's hardly ever any money in it. The only amount of time there's money in it is when I finish the month. So what I do right now is I have a next month category. I park all our paychecks in there. When the new month arrives, I budget it out. And I should have about $300. It fluctuates a little bit. And anything that's extra, I'll put into margin, right?
Yep.
And I don't touch that, but it's really only there for a few days, because when we have a budget meeting, we allocate.
You empty it.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. So that goes there. And we actually did a whole episode about this. It was one of our very first episodes.
I remember that.
You want to look about that? Yeah. And I thought I'd come up with this cool idea, and it turns out like everybody does this. So it's not really that unusual to kind of have a little bit extra to work with. So that's what that is. And then I have a holding category called bonuses. Sometimes we get some bonuses at YNAB about twice a year, or we also get paid bi-weekly. So twice a year, there's an extra paycheck. So really, for me, it's 4 times a year. We have some extra money. I stick it in there, and then when we have a budget meeting, we allocate it. So that's what that's for.
Now I'm curious. Is that the last of the holding categories?
There's one more. Well, the last one is the next month category, which I already described as just a holding place.
Well, I'm kind of curious with those first 3. Why not just lump them all into one?
I've thought about this.
do you approach that money differently? Like, this is bonus money. We're going to do something fun with it. This is margin. This is going to be something for, actual expenses in the family.
I have kind of thought about this. Like, why don't I do that? Especially with bonuses and margin. I feel like, so BMI is often more specific stuff. Like the money from grandma, right? Mm-hmm. And I want to spend that. I want to actually spend that on a gift for the kids, because that's why I should send it to us, right? So I separate that, and I think that makes sense to separate that. The bonuses and the margin probably could just go together. In fact, when we're having the budget meeting, a lot of times I will take all the money in the margin and take all the money in the bonuses and just put it back to ready to assign and then allocate it. So I don't know if I need to have separate ones there. Although I do think there is a little bit of a difference when you're allocating margin money. It feels like a little more practical. And when you're allocating bonuses money, we might tend to have a little more fun with that. So there might be a little bit of a difference, but most of the time I just kind of combine it once we're actually in the budget meeting. I think it's also like an accounting thing for me. I'm like, oh, this paycheck doesn't belong in next month. because it's a bonus, so it's like a kind of a separate thing. Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know. I still want to keep it separate for some reason, but I can't quite put my finger on why.
Yeah, I've just been thinking about this a lot in my own budget. There's certain things where inflows come in, and for some arbitrary reason, I've earmarked those funds for a certain type of expense.
Mm-hmm.
But then I'm like, it's all one pot of money. Why does it really matter? But for some reason it does. But
Yeah.
maybe that's another episode someday.
Well, it's interesting
because
because all these holding categories are money waiting to be allocated, but I don't want it in ready to assign, right? So
yeah,
I'm separating them for a reason. I don't quite know what that reason is. Like there is a reason, but yeah, otherwise I just leave it all in ready to assign. So yeah, I'm not sure. That's interesting. And then the last one is the next month category, which is new for me. I think I've only been doing this for about 3 or 4 months, because usually what I would do is as soon as I got a paycheck, I'd just click forward to next month and just drop the money there. But so many folks in the community and a lot of folks on the team too have this next month category and park the money there until the new month arrives, and then they release it and budget for the whole month at once. And for me, it's kind of tomato because I'm already a month ahead. I'm kind of like, I don't think it makes that much of a difference, but I'm going to stick with it for a while just to kind of experiment. So,
okay.
Yeah. All right, moving on. Are you ready to move on, Ernie?
Absolutely.
I didn't think we would talk about the holding categories so much, but there actually is a lot there. So that's
yeah,
good.
there is. I like that. That was interesting.
All right, let's move on to giving. The first category there is compassion. So this is like our random acts of kindness kind of category. We put a good amount of money there because this is the most fun way to spend money. So it'll be like just randomly like give like a big tip at a restaurant, or if I hear somebody in my community is struggling in some way, I can give them some money, or just like it's just a way to be generous, but not like affect the rest of the budget, Sure. And I really love this category because if you're intentional about setting money aside for this kind of thing, it just makes you a more generous person because you can more freely give. So I really love it. And that we use a little bit of it every month because I'll do random things like a big tip at a restaurant, but a lot of times that builds up.
Okay.
And then sometimes we can meet like a big need. And so it's really special. That's a really special category for me. I love that a lot.
Is there ever a time where you do want to make sure it's all gone? Like, we want to spend it all by the end of the calendar year?
No, we don't have anything particular like that. It's just if I notice it's getting kind of big, I might like give it to a particular organization that I regularly give to, but it's basically just giving that's not regular and is kind of random. So it's just a fun for being generous, and I love it. It's just a lot of fun. Probably one of my most favorite categories in the whole budget. So, and when we paid off the house, that went up a whole lot, and so that's like one of the happiest things about paying off the house. Is just I love it so much. Gifts and parties is the next category. Sometimes I think this should go under like frequent or something because it's not. I mean, it's giving because it's gifts, but it's also like stuff for our like if I'm doing like a party, like a birthday party for our kids, we'll use that category. So we set money aside for that every month, let it build, and use it when we need it. So really nice to have that. And then I have an other giving category. These are a few different organizations I give to. The local humane society in our city, which is awesome. They've helped us with situations with our pets. They're just wonderful. So we give to them. We give to a few other organizations that are important to us from that category. And then I have a category called Waymaker, which is my church. We give to them regularly too. So
those last two, they're more regular scheduled giving.
Exactly. Yeah. So like one is the big one and the others is like smaller amounts that we give regularly. So yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. And then the compassion's just whatever we feel like. So yeah. All right, moving on to bills. All right, this is a bigger one. So we got quite a few categories here. Actually, let me see how many we got. We got 17 categories in here. And I did what you did, Ernie. I actually did take some advice and change my budget.
Okay.
I probably thought about it for a long time before I did it. But yeah, this is not just monthly bills, but it's also any non-monthly bills that are regular and expected. So long as it's always comes out the same month and roughly the same amount, it goes in here. So,
and the purpose there is just, is it the same as mine where it's just that money's untouchable?
Exactly. Yeah. I never take money from here because I know I'm going to need it. So, yeah, let's just go through these. Although, now that I'm looking at it, some of them are monthly, but also irregular. So it's not necessarily the regularity. Like it's either every month or it's a regular amount or both. So let's go through it. Bessie Food. Oh, these are all in alphabetical order, by the way, because I also changed that.
I'm glad you pointed that out.
Yeah, because Ernie changed it, and so I changed it, and it's really nice. Put your categories in alphabetical order. It's awesome.
It was funny because last episode I was like, there's no other way to organize your bills other than alphabetically, or any group for that matter. And then I'm like, wait a second. By due date, you could do bills by due date. I always do that in my getting started live Q&A. I was like, oh, there is totally other ways.
There are other ways. Yeah. I like this one. It's funny too. Everyone, probably nobody will notice this unless I point it out. So I'm going to go ahead and point it out. You'll notice I have the emojis in the front. I've been meaning to experiment with putting emojis in the back, but it's kind of a lot of busy work. So I don't know. Emojis in the front. And sometimes I have a pipe, it's like a...
Yes, I love the pipe.
It's the little... I know people don't need to use the pipe more. It's a little character. It's above your enter button on your keyboard, and it just has it's a little straight line, right? So sometimes I have a pipe between the emoji and the name of the category because one time I heard somebody did that, and I was like, oh, I'm going to try that, but I only did it for 10 categories, and then I got tired. And then I moved those categories around. So you'll randomly see a pipe in a category, and I'm just realizing that now. I never actually finished that. So
an unfinished project. I love it.
All right. So Bessie Food is the first one. That one's a little weird because it's every 5 weeks. We get a order in from Chewy with a giant bag of dog food. So it's not every month, but it is basically every month. So there's that. Then allowances. Allowances should go before Bessie Food. Oh my gosh, that is wrong. I'm gonna
make the change right now. Yeah,
fixing that right now. That's the worst thing that's ever happened. Okay, I'm a librarian, and me is library worker, and me is going crazy. Okay, so allowances is allowances for my kids.
All right,
my older two get an allowance, and they spend it on junk at the dollar store. That's what they do. So
okay, so you cash that out. And then you're just giving them bills or coins.
Yeah. I give them $1 bills, so they can actually do a little budget and a little envelope budgeting. So, and I make them give. I do $5 a week for both of them, which is it feels like a lot. I've been is that too much? Because they wait. Man, they just spend it on such nonsense, these toys at the dollar store that break a second later, and I'm just this is gross. Or they're really obsessed with watches. They love to go to Walmart and buy those $10 watches that break.
I remember that phase.
Yeah. Anyways, it's fine. Kids are they're kids. But yeah, I make them set aside $1 to give away, and then the other $4 is for them. So then they can. My daughter Flora has her Grammy. My mom gave her old wallet, and it has little slots in it, and so she has a little budgeting thing going, so it's pretty cute.
Okay.
But yeah, I wanted to give them individual dollar bills so they could actually allocate it how they want. My son Teddy doesn't really do that, but we'll get him on it soon. So next up we have Bessie Meds. So I pay for a medicine every year. It's a monthly medicine for ticks and fleas and heartworm and all that gross stuff. So that's for her. Car insurance. This is my favorite emoji. Okay.
I remember this one.
I have 2 cars with a little explosion emoji in between them for car insurance. So it's depicting a car accident, obviously. So there you go. And I pay that every 6 months. So that's a regular bill. And then I have car taxes and registration. So Car taxes is once a year. Registration is actually it's once every like 3 years for me now because you're allowed to choose if you want to do yearly or like multiple like pay for
Oh.
multiple years at once. So I started doing that because I think it's a little cheaper. So that was cool. Then next is college funds. So all the money going to all our separate college funds, which is 4 separate college funds, one for each kid, goes into the one category. And then here's my mega category: fixed bills. Okay. I have
mega category. Wow.
so any bill that is always the same amount and is always monthly, it happens on the same time every month. I have under fixed bills. So this is a little weird. I'm all about combining categories as much as I can, and some of you guys are like freaking out because you're like, the reports, Ben, the reports, right? Because it's all mixed together, and I'm just like, I don't really care. I just put it all together. So I have, and you'll see the emojis there. I have a little skull emoji that's for life insurance because it's actually death insurance. So there you go. And then I have identity theft insurance. I have a little ID emoji there. Internet is the computer emoji. Recycling is the recycling emoji. YMCA, I pay for YMCA for the whole family. That's a little swimming emoji because, yeah, we have that. And then I pay for my daughter's violin and my son's violin. We rent that. That has a little violin emoji because our school has a really cool program with a grant. They've had it for like 50 years where any kid in the school that wants to can get free violin lessons from kindergarten.
Wow.
Really special. It's really cute. And I actually go in first grade. The parents actually have to go to the class it's a whole thing. So I go, me and my wife go twice a week to do that. And, yeah, but we have to rent the violin. So there you go. That's what that's for. Next up, homeowners.
I have a question about that actually.
Yeah,
Something that I do somewhat regularly is go through all my bills and just at least consider, is there a way to reduce this cost? Is there anything I can do? And I'm sure you do the similar thing, but do you ever feel like with everything grouped into that mega category, you kind of lose sight of what you're paying for? Or do you have it like listed in the notes section?
I do have it listed in the notes section, the cost for each one. So I don't feel like it's too much of a problem. And I can also, anytime I could just open the activity in a previous month and I could see it all listed.
Sure.
So yeah, I don't feel like I lose sight of it.
So you're still pretty dialed in exactly what's going on every month.
Yeah, I got a good idea. And I'm also, reconciling and approving, so I see the transactions come in. So I'm pretty aware of it. I don't feel like I lose any awareness. The only thing I might lose is maybe looking at reports. I don't really even know. I mean, I guess I was going to say looking at trends, but the trend's just going to be flat because it's, again, these are always the same amount. So, I don't know. If I wanted to know, like, how much should I spend on recycling in the whole year, I could do a search and I could do a selected total and see, So yeah, I don't feel like I lose anything. I think I just have fewer categories. I kind of like it. So
cool.
Yeah. Homeowners policy. So I got a little tree emoji there. Mint Mobile. That's my mobile carrier, which just got sold to T-Mobile, I think. I'm a little miffed about it. Yeah. Come on, Ryan Reynolds. Come on. You're supposed to be the people's... It's fine. You got to sell out to the man eventually. So that's what happened. But I do really like them. It's a good price. So that's been good. And also that's interesting because what they do, like I actually pay yearly for the entire year for my mobile plan. It's really funny how they market it. They're like, how are you enjoying the no bill life? Like, they're like, it's amazing the marketing, how they turn that into like a good thing. Because for most people having to pay, I think there's an option to pay every 3 months or something, but the best option is to pay a year because you get it cheaper. But they call it the no bill life, and I'm like, I still have a bill, and I still save for it every month. So, anyways, but it's kind of funny. But I was like, this is perfect for a YNABer because it's no pain. Because it is a pain at the beginning because you have to pay a lot of money all at once. But once you do that, you just save for it every month, like as a monthly bill, but you get a cheaper bill because of it. So it's kind of nice. Moving right along, monthly subscriptions. I put them all into one. Any kind of monthly subscription. So let me just go through that. I have, actually, okay, yeah, I have Disney Plus, Netflix, and Hulu, and YouTube Premium. So I got all sorts of random subscriptions for that. So that's what that is. Nutrition coaching. I see a coach once a month or so. Talk about that. She's been super helpful. I've been seeing her for a year. I got a little salad emoji for that because I'm supposed to. Basically, she's like, "You need to eat salads." I'm like, "Yeah."
Previously, it was a burrito.
Yeah, exactly. It's basically it's like, "Have you eaten salads?" There you go. No, it's more complicated than that, but it's almost like therapy going to her. It really is. And then I have a power category. That's my electric bill, which is in a little bit disarray right now. So the way I handle that is it's variable every month, and in the fall and spring it's less, and then in the summer and the winter it's more because I have electric heat and electric air conditioning. So I just do an average amount, and so it builds up in the fall and the spring, and then I use it up in the summer and the winter. But yeah, like in February it was like. I got like way overspent on that. And I'm like, oh, I've been off. And I think I've been off for a while, probably because of the costs of electricity and going up and all that. So I had to dump a good amount of money in there during our budget meeting to kind of offset that. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I also increased it a little bit, so I think it'll work out. This is the feeling it out kind of thing. You know, you just kind of have to go through and feel it out and see how it goes. And then I have real estate property tax. That's also my city has a property tax. Pay that once a year. Retirement. I love this emoji. I have like a little old man and a little old woman there, which is nice. Umbrella policy, which is another insurance policy we have. Water and yearly subscriptions. So I also group anything I pay yearly into one. So
that makes sense because it would be kind of tough to manage that available amount if you combine the monthly.
I did combine the monthly and the yearly for a long time, and it was fine. It just when I was analyzing it complicated things. So
didn't you create a spreadsheet?
Oh my gosh, yes.
To figure out what you needed to have.
I like simulated it. So I like simulated if I put in this amount every month and this is when the expenses are coming out. I was like, okay, if I do it this way, I'm going to be good for 3 years, and then I'm going to have a negative. And it's like it's not going to change in 3 years, you know. So that category is always a little weird. But basically, what I do now is, and I even got weirder when I think I told you when my wife lost her job for about a month. She was out of work in the summer. I paused a lot of those yearly subscriptions and cut back on the budget. And then, so it got all messed up. So I don't know exactly where it's at right now. I got a good amount of money in there. I'm just putting money in every month, and hopefully it'll work out. If it doesn't, I'll roll with the punches. So that's how that works.
So there's definitely a time for more categories if it means
I have thought about
simplicity.
I've thought about separating this out because it might. I'm all about combining categories, but this example, it does make it more complicated, like straight up, because I have a little bit of uncertainty there. So yeah, I'm not so sure about that. Maybe I need another group. I could have a group with like all subscriptions and have monthly and yearly in there. That might be interesting, but that would be like 10 categories, man. Like I got a lot of subscriptions going, so I don't know about that. I don't know. I'll have to think about that. All right, so that's my bills. That was the long haul one. Are we ready to move on, Ernie? Any more questions?
Well, do you have any near and dear to you bills? You know, I talked about my vehicle registration because that was the first true expense that I ever forgot.
Let me see. I mean, I love my fixed bills category. It's just like so elegant to me. But as far as specific bills go, I don't know. I think I keep coming back to that violin category. I just love that my kids get to play violin and like actually learn it.
That is really neat.
I mean, they're not like virtuosos or anything. They're 6 and 8 years old, but yeah. I mean, they're playing it. I'm going to a recital on Thursday, so which is actually pretty painful. let's be honest. Oh man, yeah. So yeah, I don't know. It should be pretty fun, but
Cool.
yeah, I think that's what stands out to me there. Yeah. All right, moving on. Frequent. Okay, so these are things that just happen throughout the month on a regular basis, but they're not regular at all. So under the frequent thing there. Also in alphabetical order, hopefully, I have babysitting. So pretty self-explanatory.
Yep.
Paying a babysitter tonight. We're going out tonight. That'll be fun.
Nice.
Yeah, really exciting. We actually got a new babysitter. So trying it out. Should be good.
All right.
Bessie incidentals. So this is like toys and stuff for her. We talked about this in the pet episode. I put like $20 a month in that. I haven't really spent it that much though. I almost wonder if I should lower that. We don't really buy a whole lot. Our neighbors bring her treats actually a lot. So I don't know. I don't really use that a whole lot. Books and education. This is an interesting category. I actually don't fund this. But it's one of those categories. So it's just zero all the time. I might put some money aside for it every month at some point. But really, this is if we have like a class or like some books we want to buy, we'll specially fund this category. So it's really more of an accounting thing. Any kind of books you buy or any kind of class I take, I'll put it there.
So something you would probably fund that from your margin.
Yeah, exactly.
Got it.
Yeah. Diapers gets its own category because oh boy, I still got kids in pull-ups and I have babies, so there's diapers, and of course that has the poop emoji because what else are you gonna do?
You have to.
Right. That's a requirement. Entertainment, that's just anything we do as a family that's entertainment. Gas, groceries, kids stuff, that's just any stuff for kids. It's a pretty self-explanatory. Anything for them, any clothes or we don't separate that out. We just gonna lump it all together. Medical, I actually have an HSA, so most of our medical bills get paid through our HSA. But if there's anything over the counter or anything that the HSA can't pay for, I'll pay for it with that. This is a fun one. Photo book business. So my wife has recently started a business where it's like digital scrapbooking. I think that's the best way you can think of it. She takes people's photos and makes like a beautiful, it's really nice because basically they can just like dump a bunch of photos into a folder for her and she can take them and pick the ones that should be in a book and make a photo book out of them that you can print off and send to them. So she does all the design work for that. And the business is not making money yet because she's still kind of experimenting with it. But so we don't have like a separate account for that or anything. So I just have a category. Any expenses for that goes through
the expenses. Got it.
Yeah. 2 restaurants category. We have restaurants dates and restaurants family. We talked about this before, right?
I like how you separate those two out. That makes total sense.
And these are interchangeable. Like if I'm overspent in one, I'll use the other to cover. Like I don't really care which one gets. Like we have a certain amount that we fund each one, but I kind of put them together a lot. It's just to be aware of where the money's going because we had just one restaurant category and we started going out maybe like twice a month or so or once a week or so with the kids and we would get takeout or we'd order in pizza, that kind of thing, and we found it was just kind of eating up our dates restaurant, and so we were like we really wanted to separate that, so we have a separate dates one and we have a separate family one, and if I ever feel uncomfortable with the family one's kind of taken over too much, let's dial back on the pizza takeout so that we can have more dates. And we've had struggle with having babysitters for a while. so we haven't gone out as much. And
Not
so
anymore.
I think it's leaned more toward family, but now it's going to lean more toward dates. So yeah,
Nice.
That's although right now we have nothing in either category because it's the 28th of March as we're recording this.
We're running on fumes too.
Yeah, and we have a date tonight, so we're gonna have to move some money to go out. So we'll do that. Oh man, that's how it. I don't think I've ever had a single month where I haven't increased the dining out category at least once.
Unless we were like on vacation for a good portion of the time, that took up a couple of Friday night eat outs or something.
Yeah, exactly. It's a little bit flexible, that one. And then I have the sundries category, which has a toilet emoji. And that's because a lot of it's about the toilet. We got toilet paper and a lot of it's about bathroom, I guess, like soap and junk like that.
It's just such a fun name. Sundries.
I love it. What did you call yours again?
Consumables.
Consumables, right. Consumables. That's really good too. Hannah gave me the idea for sundries. We struggled with this category name for years. I called it miscellaneous. Then I called it household. Then I called it miscellaneous household. It's like a long one. And then I called it I abbreviated it. I called it MISC household. So like MISCKEY. No, MISC, like Miss House, like miscellaneous household. You know what I'm saying? Anyways.
Yeah, there is something annoying about really long category names. I get
Yeah, it was just it was gross. But I heard sundries and I'm like, that's it. And we were on a call. We were on a Budget Nerds recording. And I looked up the definition of sundries, and I think it was, I'm going to look it up again. Define sundries. Various items not important enough to be mentioned individually. Okay. It is perfect. It's the perfect definition. Yeah.
There's just no way I will remember that. So every time I look at my sundries category, I'd be like, what is that again?
Yeah, I totally know what you mean. So it's just all the stuff you don't want to list separately. Like I don't want to have a toothpaste category and a toilet paper category. Just put it all in sundries. Yeah. So a lot of folks put that in groceries, which is totally fine too. I like to separate out food and non-food. So that's what that
I
is.
like to do that too.
All right, now on to the fun stuff. We have separate category groups for us individually. I have a Ben Budgets group and a Katie Budgets group. And it's funny because we used to only have the spending category, and that's actually where the money comes from. We have a spending category where we actually fund the money, and then if we want to separate it out a little bit, we take from the spending, the Ben spending and the Katie spending category, and fund these extra categories with it. And Katie started doing this because like she likes to get coffee and tea out, and so she created like a Katie coffee category, and then it ended up being more categories, and I was like, let's separate this out into a group, and then I started doing it. So it's kind of nice. So it's a kind of a way for us to use our personal spending and kind of create like a mini budget out of it. So we'll go through it.
Excuse me, because right now Christy and I just each have one fun money category.
Yeah.
And there are times where I'm like, I have a chunk of money there and I'm just kind of running or keeping track in my head what I want to use that for. And I'm like, would it just be easier if I created a group? But I like the simplicity of my category. I don't know if you want
like a whole other group. Yeah. Because I don't use it a whole lot. I mostly just put everything through my spending category. But there are a few times where it's nice. Like if I'm saving up for something that takes more than 1 month of saving to save up for it.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
It's nice to have that, but I'm only saving for it with my personal spending. It's nice to separate that out so I don't spend that on Chipotle, or something, because that's what I would do if it's in my. So it's just a way to separate it. So Ben Budgets, Ben Spending, that's the one we actually fund, and then Ben Clothing, we actually separate our clothing categories too, and we fund that a little bit every month. And then I have a poker category. That's where I keep my poker bankroll, so to speak. It's the money I'm willing to lose, pretty much, on playing poker with my buddies. And it's really funny because I remember so there's this concept in poker, if you're like playing poker regularly, especially if you're like a professional poker player, of your bankroll, right? It's like money that you separate from your regular life that you play with, and then when you win, you move it to fund your life if you're a professional, right?
Got it.
And I remember it was really funny because I was like reading an article about like how do you figure out how much money you need for your bankroll based on like the stakes of poker you're playing. And I'm playing really low stakes, so it's not a lot of money. And it was like, now this is all assuming that you're a winning poker player. If you're a losing poker player, you don't need a bankroll. And it literally said this. It said, if you're a losing poker player, you don't need a bankroll. You need a budget. And I was like, you need a budget. I just thought that was so funny. So anyways, so really this is more of a budget than a bankroll. I'll just put it that way. So anyways, I have a category for that. And then I have one that's kind of weird. I have a category called Poker Tip Fund. Okay. So I had a couple incidents. So when I'm the one that hosts all our poker games. I organize them because I'm the nerdiest one of my group of friends. So I have a spreadsheet with people on it. I call them and I organize it, right? And that means I'm the bank. So if we're playing a game, usually it's like a $20 buy-in for our games. It's like not a lot of money, you know. They will pay me. So they'll come in and be like, here's $20, Ben. They'll hand me in cash or they'll send me a cash app. And I give them $20 in chips, right? And at the end of the night, say they have $40 because they won some money, I'll give them $40, right? And so it all works out in the end. And then I do my accounting at the end. At the next day, I'll like do my accounting and make sure it's all right. And there was one time where I like lost like $40 because of like a mistake that was made. Like I gave somebody too many chips, or maybe I paid them out too much, or maybe somebody miscounted. It's really easy to miscount. So actually we have all these rules about like, oh, when you count your chips, you have your neighbor to count to double check and stuff like that. So we put those in place. But like there was a couple times where I was like, I'm losing money here. This is not great. And so one of my friends took it on himself to tell everybody, hey, give Ben a little tip. Like they'll give me like 75 cents or like $1 or something.
Okay.
And so I put that into the tip fund. So if there's ever a problem where, oh, I lost money because of an accounting error, I take it from there. So
got it.
That
makes sense.
Yeah. So it's a very specific category. And I've even like pulled up my budget and shown my friends this because I want them to realize like, hey, I actually am separating this money for this purpose. And if it ever gets to be really big, I'll use it to buy chips or something, you know, for like potato chips, not poker chips.
Have you ever sold anyone on YNAB? They're like, oh, tell me more about this awesome spreadsheet.
We've had some conversations. You know, I've got a couple friends that are YNABers in that group of people, but not really. Nobody's that interested. So if they're interested, they know where to go. Because I also like have my my YNAB cup the whole time when I'm playing with them. So that's always there.
Decked out in your YNAB hat, your shirt, your backpack.
Exactly. And the only other category I have, which I don't use much, is my gaming category. If there's like a video game I want to save up for, I'll put it there. Like right now, it has some money in it because I'm saving up for a new Zelda game that's coming out in May.
Okay.
So I just separate that out so I don't spend it on Chipotle. So that's what that's for.
And do you find when you get your money for the month, do you allocate it out right away, or do you just kind of wait and see what priorities kind of rise to the surface?
I just leave it in Ben spending, and then if I feel like, oh, that category is getting pretty big, I might move it to poker or I might move it to gaming.
Okay,
it's just kind of random. Yeah, it's not any. It's not very planned out. It's just if I need to do some accounting so I can have a more true number in Ben spending, I'll separate it out that way. Got it. All right, moving on to Katie budgets. I'll say Katie was she was like, why do you want to show my budgets? So I might not explain all these too much because like, I don't know if she wants me to go into it, but she has a Katie spending category and a Katie clothing. I really liked this one. She created a category called friend meals. Which I really like because she was like, I really want to invest in my friendships more and like plan to go out with friends. So she's started separating money. And our rule is if we eat out, if we dine out alone or with a friend, then it's our personal spending. If we're dining out together, then that's restaurant's budget. Or restaurant's date budget.
Yep.
So
I adopted that rule myself.
Yeah.
When
really
you told
helpful.
it to me, I'm like, that makes so much sense.
We've had a lot of conflict resolved because of that issue. So I think that's really helpful. And yeah, so she has a friend meals category. I really like that idea. I might do the same. She also has a massage category. She's used it like a couple times. I think she wants to do a massage more often, maybe like once every few months or so. So I remember I got a massage one time, and the person was like, "You really should do this twice a month." And I'm like, "How rich do you think I am? Like it costs like $150 to get this massage, or like $100 with a tip." And I'm like, I can't afford that. I'm not paying like $300 a month for massages. What do you think I am? Anyways, so
I do a massage every 3 months.
Do you? Okay, good.
That is what a good portion of my fun money goes to every single year.
I love
massages.
Yeah, I have a good amount in mind right now, and I'm thinking about following her because she said the place she goes to, I think it's $80, and then she gets like a $20 tip.
Okay.
So it's like $100, which it's not chump change, but I mean it makes a difference. So
yeah, and it has to be 90 minutes. That's my rule.
Okay.
Like it's not even a massage if it's not an hour and a half.
You need an hour just to get loose enough to even get the benefits, right?
Yep.
Yeah. I've gotten like 3 or 4 massages in my life and I never regretted it. So yeah, I might try that. Maybe I'll have a category for that too. She has a category called bar necklace. She wants to get this necklace that has like all our initials on it, the whole family.
Okay.
So just think about getting that. Tea. Caitlin buys lots of tea. She buys fancy tea. She has a tea subscription, so she does that. Photo book 2022. I feel like that should be a family expense. So I said she has this photo book business.
Mm-hmm.
She wants to make like a yearbook. That's the big thing she does. It's like she takes like people's photographs from a whole year and just like sorts through them and makes the thing. So she wants to do that for our family.
Okay.
She put it. This is the thing with me and Kaden a lot. Like she'll like. She doesn't want to have to ask me to fund something, and so she'll fund it herself. And then I'm like mad. I'm like, you shouldn't have to fund that yourself. Anyways, it's always an argument.
I'm always changing. I shouldn't say always, but I on a regular basis change Christy's categories.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, no, you don't need to pay for that. That is school or boy. And there are times too where I'm like, no, that's not eating out. That's your money.
Right.
I'll move it back.
It's always a negotiation, But for Caitlin, it's always like she's taking on too much, and I'm like, and she tells me it's just because I don't want to have to. She's like, I don't want to have to make the argument in our budget meetings. I just want to do it. So, and if that's what she wants, that's what she wants. But sometimes I feel bad about it. So I'll make an argument for, hey, let's fund this.
Yeah, I hear you there.
Skincare, makeup, coffee category for her, which is funny because she mostly drinks tea, but sometimes she'll get coffee. And then she has a category called various, which I don't know what that's for. It's for various stuff. So there you go. So she does a lot more separating of her personal spending than I do. So. Because I mostly just spend it eating out or by myself, basically, which is why I need a nutrition coach. So there you go. All right, moving on to our irregular category group. This is anything that does not happen every month and is a different, like a weird amount. So auto maintenance is the classic example, right?
Yep.
All right, so appliances is the first category, which I still do not fund. Ever.
All right, it's just you got to keep it there, though, right? It's just
oh yeah, it's there.
There's the story.
Well, again, this is like an accounting category. So like if we needed to fix an appliance, it would go into that category, but it'd be specially funded. And again, this is a true expense that I'm just not embracing. I just refuse, apparently. So, but I have the category there. So that's if anybody's listened to Budget Nerds for a while, you'll laugh at me for that. I have an auto maintenance category, of course. I literally have my car at the shop right now, and I just got a quote for a $450 repair because they need to replace the brakes, and also because I waited too long to replace the brakes, I broke a bunch of stuff in the car, so they need to fix that. Which I was like. That's actually pretty. I thought it was going to be way worse than that, so I was happy to see that quote. But I got the money for it. I think. Do I have the money for it?
You should have checked that before.
I have.
I guess you didn't know how much the bill would be. Okay.
I have $571 in that category, and I think the quote was for $525. So I'm going to squeak in there. I think it's going to be okay. Hopefully the car doesn't have anything else it needs. So that's there. Bessie boarding. So this is if we ever go on vacation, I board the dog most of the time. Sometimes I'll have I have a couple people that will take care of her, but mostly I board her at the vet, and she loves it. They're obsessed with her there. It's adorable. They all, I don't know if they just tell everybody this, but they say that she's their favorite. I really think it's true though. So, cause she, like I said,
her temperament, right?
Her temperament. She has a great temperament. So, and she really does. So, they say she's their favorite Great Dane. So, car replacement. That's just a fund that we stick like $100 a month into every month for forever. And even if we buy a new car, we'll still do that because it's once you buy a new car, it's time to start saving for the next car. So that's just a true expense. Yeah. Christmas, self-explanatory. Family pictures. So every year or so, really actually every 18 months, I think is what we've settled on. We get family pictures done. So that's for that. Haircuts for the whole family there. Home improvement. So this is distinct from home maintenance. Home improvement is anything that's like not required, right? So like if we got new blinds, it'd be home improvement.
Yeah.
And also this is also an accounting category because if we were saving for redecorated the basement, we got new paint and all this stuff, right? That was like a big expense. So we saved for it separately, but then when I was done, I deleted it and merged it with the home improvement category. So that's kind of a catch-all for large things, but also I save for it every month for little things. So
I did away with my home improvement. I think I just rolled it all into home maintenance, which I don't know if I like because
there's a distinction, but it's fuzzy. It really is.
Yeah, like if we decide to do an insert, like a wood stove insert into our fireplace, that's not maintenance. That's an improvement, right? And boy, maybe I should bring it back. I just deleted that reimbursements category.
It's a fuzzy distinction. It really is. And sometimes it causes some confusion. Me and Katie have to like kind of figure it out. So yeah, I don't know how I feel about it either. But it's there and it works.
I think what it is, when we are doing a home improvement project, like we know what we're going to do. We usually kind of at the beginning of the year, hey, what do we want to do on the house? And we create a specific category for it.
Right.
And then we start saving.
Yeah, that's what we do too.
And then we just delete the category and roll it into home maintenance.
Okay, you put it in home maintenance. I kind of like actually moving it into home improvement for reporting purposes because then you can kind of see you can separate out, okay, what's the stuff that's like I have to do, like the heater broke, like the stuff that you don't want to do, but you have to do.
Yep. But then I then it is just for accounting purposes, and so I'm not really funding it because I'm funding the actual category of the project we're doing.
But I do both. I fund it. How much do I put aside for that every month? I put $20 a month in it. It's not much.
Okay.
For little things, we'll do that, and then for the big things, I separate it out.
I guess it would be nice, just kind of on a whim. Hey, we want to, spruce up this corner or something in the
get new
mudroom,
throw pillows, that kind of thing, So yeah. Then home maintenance. It's the other side of that coin. I have a little smirk category for other taxes. That's where I put any other tax that comes up. That includes like a speeding ticket. Okay. Or like a parking bill or something like that. Right. Not that I get a lot of speeding tickets, but I have been known to get a speeding ticket once or twice. So there's that. I also pay for tax. We have like software for tax preparation. I pay for that with that.
Okay.
So I don't fund that either. Actually, that's another accounting category. Really, if I have something, I especially fund that for that. Pool supplies. This is a fun one because, it's fun because it's a pool supply. But so if y'all don't know, I have a pool in my backyard, and I spend from it a lot during the summer, but then I don't spend it at all, of course, when the pool's closed in the fall and the winter and most of the spring. So I just save for I think $20 a month. $20 a month every month forever. No matter what time of year it is, I save that, and then I have money in the summer for all the supplies I need. So that's helpful.
I love my lawn. Ben loves his pool, and you've got to be to that point where you're starting to get ready to open it, right?
Yeah, actually, I probably should soon because it's getting warm and it's gonna be green. There are ways to like I don't know. There are like shaman out there that open up their pool and it's still like blue and nice. I've never had that happen. When I open up in the spring, it is nasty. I remember last spring, Caitlin was helping me because you have to brush it a lot. When you're first opening and it's green. She dropped her phone into the pool and it was full of algae. It's not going to hurt you, but it's gross. Like it smells bad. It's full of algae. She jumped into that pool and got her phone. And she came up and I was like, why are you soaking wet? And like what happened? She's like, that's what happened. Her phone was fine, but and like it's murky too. Like it's like lake water at this point. So like she couldn't see her phone. She had to go under.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Remember that? Did you see Meet the Parents?
Yes.
That scene where he spikes the volleyball right into her face and the mom jumps into the pool.
I don't remember that. I haven't seen that movie in a long time.
Oh man, that's what I picture Caitlin looking like when she jumped into that pool.
Yeah. I was so impressed because she could have like come and gotten me and like we could have fished it out, but she was like, I need to get this phone now or it's gonna be bad. So, and she got it and the phone works, so that's good.
I'm surprised all the algae didn't actually catch it. You know, it just kind of rests on the top.
It's not that bad. It's not like you don't picture like pond scum like on. Well, maybe a little bit, but
that's what I was picturing.
It's just like green in there, and it's
okay.
It smells bad. But literally like a week, or maybe sometimes even like a few days of, a lot of chlorine, a lot of bleach, and a lot of elbow grease, and it's blue as can be. So it just takes some work. Prudent reserve, that's what I call my emergency fund. We talked about that at length. Technology, again, actually, no, we do fund this. We put $30 a month for that. And if I need to buy like cables or just anything that's technology related, I'll put it there. If it's a larger thing, I'll wrap it up. So if we're paying for a new phone or something, I'll wrap that up into technology.
Okay.
And then we have a vacations and travel category. And I distinguish those two, vacations, and because like if I'm going to see my in-laws in Charlotte, that's travel. If I'm going on a, well, I don't know, I haven't gone on vacation properly in a long time, but you know how it is. So we set money aside for travel. So that's what that is. All right, we are going really long, so I'm gonna pick it up the pace a little bit. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, my episode was done in like 40 minutes.
Ooh, that's me. All right. Sorry, guys. This is who I am. All right. Let's move on to my nanny category group. So I have a nanny, a babysitter that takes care of the kids, but she's full-time, or almost full-time, about 35 hours a week, while me and my wife and I work. So, and there's actually quite a few accounting things here because we also manage her taxes because she's an employee, and you're supposed to, guys, if you have a nanny, they're an employee and you need to treat them like an employee, which means you need to pay half their payroll taxes. And anyways, this is a soapbox for me. Anyways, it's a whole thing. So yeah, so we need to save for all our employer taxes. We pay half her payroll taxes, and also we withhold her income taxes and pay that to the government every quarter. So,
okay.
So I have a payroll category. That's where her paychecks come out of. This is a temporary category, money for 5 extra sick days. She's got a lot going on and she's had to take a lot of personal days. And it was like the very beginning of the year. And I'm like, you're not going to have anything left. So we were like, hey, let's give you some extra sick days.
Oh, that was nice.
Yeah. So we were saving up separately for that. And then I'll roll that back into payroll when it's done. Withholding. So anytime we pay a paycheck, some of it's withheld for her taxes. I just move that into a withholding category until I have to pay the government. That's just a holding category. Okay. Basically. Employer taxes. That's where we pay our part of the payroll taxes out of that. Home pay fees. So I use a service called Home Pay, which is specifically for managing taxes for having a nanny, and they have a fees for that, so we do that. Kids entertainment, I give our nannies some money every month so she can take them out and go to Chipotle or go to a bouncy house place and just do some entertaining things with the kids. So that's for that. And then any bonuses we give her, we have a category separately for that. So
Nice.
yep, that's all there is to that. Pretty quick and easy. Then
Sounds
moving
like
on.
you're a good employer.
Well, thank you. We try to be on the up and up, and just like any other employee. There's a whole thing with a lot of folks with babysitters and nannies. Like they kind of do a lot of things under the book, under the count. What?
Sure.
Over the what? Off the book. What am I looking for? Under the
table?
Under the table. That's what I'm looking for. Yeah. And we always want everything to be above board and simple. So yeah, there you go. It's easier, honestly, this way. All right. Moving on to goals. So these are things that we're saving for. Next big goal is kind of a holding category. We just stick a certain amount of money there every month, and it goes to whatever the next big goal is. Right now, it's the upstairs bathroom renovation, which is the next category there. I don't know why I don't just stick all the money in there, because it almost always just goes there, but I just kind of like to hold it and then decide in a budget meeting what we're going to do with it. So that's what we do. I actually added this because Lee mentioned, he's like, if you're ever doing any construction or any remodeling in your house, you need a 20% contingency. So I added this category called bathroom reno 20% contingency. So I'm saving a certain amount to renovate a bathroom. And I think I also want to save 20% on top of that for whatever nonsense is going to happen, because that's what happens when you start renovating anything.
It always happens. Makes sense.
It always happens. So I'm realizing I actually just need to go ahead and save that. And I think I'd have a lot more peace of mind if I had it. And if I don't need it, I'll just put it on the next thing, so it's great.
And I like how that is separated out. You could just, take your goal, and save 20% more.
Right.
But
yeah. And we need a new quote too, actually, because we got that quote a long time ago and it's probably way more now. So, but yeah. Sessions with Joy. My wife wants to meet with a life coach, so that's for that. 2023 vacations ? That's the category. It's not for anything particular. It's just any vacations, and this is going to be small stuff like going to the beach for the weekend with my family, that kind of stuff. So we're saving money for that. Vacation with Harper's. We have some dear friends who want to go on vacation with us. It's probably around this time next year, and that could be like our first like proper vacation without the kids in a long time. So I think I'm looking forward to that. We might
start stuffing that now.
We might go like out of the country or something. So it might be. Yeah, I'm not sure. So we're gonna start stuffing money in there. And then we have a category for a shed because we want to buy a shed. So there you go. Last, I have a goals funded category group. This is just money. These are goals that are funded, but I haven't spent it yet. So it's just a holding place until I've actually spent it.
Okay.
I want a new solar cover for the pool. This is getting into the pool stuff. A solar cover is like a blanket you put across the pool. It's actually literally like bubble wrap. It has like little bubbles.
Yeah.
And the sun heats the air and the bubbles, which is transferred into the water, so it heats the pool without having to like pay for a heater. It also kind of helps the chemicals not evaporate as much, so you save on that. So, okay. And you need to replace it every like 3 years because it just gets broken down. So yeah. Joe Gill grandma birthday. Oh, we had our budget meeting for that $50, and we couldn't decide what we wanted to spend it on. So we put it into this goals funded category. So maybe I could actually drop that BMI and just put things under goals funded instead. I don't know. But yeah, so these are also kind of holding categories for that. And that's it. That's all my categories.
Wow, 80 plus categories.
An hour and 5 minutes or so.
There we go. Well, that's a lot of categories.
Thanks for listening, guys. I'm amazed if you made it all the way to the end, listening to me yabber on about all this, but hopefully you're interested.
YNABers love talking about, listening about categories, so we're good.
Yeah, good deal.
All right, well, why don't we get into the YNAB Wins?
All right. Yeah, let's do it.
Who is all in your mind?
All right, we got a couple short ones for you today. Since we went so long, we'll keep it quick. Peggy wrote in she wrote a YouTube comment on Ernie changes his budget, which was a episode a while back, and said this: YNAB Win finally had someone notice my YNAB swag, a hat, and asked me about YNAB. And for the very first time, someone wants me to show them how it works. I'm pretty excited. Yay, I love that.
That is awesome. I'm still waiting for that moment.
Yeah,
that
yeah.
YNAB in the wild moment, kind of.
Yeah, if you see Ernie, guys, go talk to him. He'd love it.
Congratulations, Peggy. My win comes from T-Frizz. On the same episode, Ernie changes his budget. YNAB Win. I've been working really hard on my goal to pay off my credit card debt, and I'm so excited because I did it. That's got to be a great feeling.
That was like a surprise because he's like, I've been working really hard on this goal, and I did it. I love it.
Congratulations, T-Frizz.
Oh, congrats. Love to see it. Well, if you have a YNAB win, be sure to write it in the comments on YouTube, or you can email us at budgetnerds@ynab.com.
All right, special announcement. In 2 weeks, we're going to be doing our normal Budget Nerds show, but in between this episode and the next one, we have a bonus episode.
Yes.
I am going to be doing a Budget with Me live on YouTube. I'm going to be sharing actual numbers from my budget. I'm going to be filling out my May budget, and I'm inviting everyone to watch me do it. I like
You're
those
crazy,
budget.
Ernie. You're crazy.
I like those Budget with Me videos, and I've been thinking about doing this for a while, so I finally pulled the trigger on that.
All right, so look out.
So that is going to be, I forgot to, the day and the time would be helpful. Monday, May 1st.
Okay.
7 Eastern on our YouTube channel.
Okay.
So as we get closer to that date, we're going to have an actual link that you can be notified of when it goes live.
Man, this is wild. You're gonna because we talked about our categories, but we didn't talk about any numbers. You're actually gonna show everybody your numbers.
Actual numbers. Yeah.
Actual
here's
real
what
numbers.
I budget. Here's what I assign to all my categories. Here's what I have available.
And you go through your process of how you decide. So yeah,
I'm so excited.
I love it, Ernie. I'm gonna be looking forward to seeing it. I mentioned this to Kayla. I was like, Ernie's gonna be showing his real budget. He's gonna do a budget with me, and she was like, Ernie's doing that. Right? Not you. I'm like, no, not me. So
Love it.
All right,
cool. Friends. Well, until next time, until the budget with me, happy budgeting. Take care.
Happy budgeting. See you guys.